Hey there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I'm actually pretty excited about this discussion, and it'll be a long one, so we'll make sure to break it up into bite-sized sections. We'll start this discussion with a bit of a story time. Growing up, my dad was a bit of a perfectionist, and he was an incredible person with a really strong work ethic, but at the same time, he was just a little bit over the top with everything. And that obsessiveness did influence me in some ways that I had to work through later on, but a lot of it in balance has helped me a lot throughout my life. Some of the positives are that I learned to make a habit of being early to job interviews, hangouts, and work, and these things have generally helped me out a lot and shaped the way that I work in life. And I'll probably end up making a video about those things later on because those things do really impact the way that I live my life. He also taught me to do the best at the things that I have in front of me, especially later on, the tune of perfection changed to a tune of excellence. That I should try to excel at work, school, and whatever else life brought my way. Around this time, I was enrolled in college, and this university was a religious university, meaning that this university specifically focused on teaching the history of religion and the reasoning behind it. So I expected that the people there would try to learn religion and try to actually be interested in the coursework because that's exactly what the university was provided for. But I was in for a certain surprise. There were so many people there that were just trying to get a degree and be done with their education. And because they had no energy or desire to actually study the topics that they were enrolled in, a lot of them would look for as many ways as possible to cut corners just because they didn't want to be there and just because that wasn't what they were trying to focus on. Some of them would completely cheat on tests and stuff like that, even if it meant they wouldn't learn anything from the class. While this kind of stuff didn't get them in trouble, it always sat weird with me. It felt like a waste of time to go to a college if a person didn't actually learn anything from going to that college. And so why spend all that money for no reason? Why would anybody want to go into debt, especially at a religious university that isn't partying or doing anything special that other universities do? And would there be any consequences to their actions? Like if professors didn't catch them copying each other's answers to the test, copy-pasting papers from other students, or lying about their health to keep attendance up, then was it just like, okay? I'd kind of forgotten about this until recently with some of the latest kind of internet controversies, and it made me want to revisit this and kind of talk through it a bit more. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I want to make this note because it's important. Just because I was taught to do the best that I could do at whatever was put in front of me does not make me a better person or give me any moral high ground over any of these other people that were out there cutting corners. Each person has to decide for themselves what they want to put their effort into. And some people are just shaped differently and are better at different things. I never liked outdoor work, and when I was young, I was forced to do that as part of like my monthly chores, and I would totally cut corners and get in trouble for it. I'm no different in that sense. There's things that I don't excel at that I don't enjoy doing. What I want to specifically focus on here is the specific people who are cheating to get by. And I don't have any moral high ground over those people either, but I want to make this video as kind of like an argument against cheating from a social perspective. I think generally most people would say that cheating isn't the best of things to do, or would perhaps get upset if people cheated on them, whether physically or through work or whatever. So I instead want to talk about things from how it would impact you and the people around you, and how it may impact the legacy that you want to leave behind. Again, this is more of a concept. If it doesn't relate to you, then that's totally okay. It's just something that I wanted to talk through. Cheating defined, though obviously you guys already have an understanding of this, is to act dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage, especially in a game or an examination. And this thing does kind of extend to other topics. Stealing other people's work or not crediting artists, using other people's intellectual property without permission, all of these things kind of relate to this idea. And so for some parts of this discussion, I'll reference these things under the category of cheating. So why could this be a problem? Well, a lot of people have made arguments about this in the past, and so in general, I think that most people would consider it to be bad. But let's still walk through a bit of this and kind of get a social understanding of it. In school, cheating is considered bad by the boards that head up these institutions because it means that their students aren't learning. And if they are going to graduate this student and associate their name with this individual, they want to make sure that as much as possible, that person is a good representation of what they teach. From a social perspective as well, things like stealing other people's work, plagiarization, can cause companies to hire the wrong people, sponsor the wrong research, or straight up be wasting money on ideas or concepts. It also shows theft of intellectual property. And just as much as people dislike actual theft, intellectual theft also feels intrusive and socially unacceptable. And then of course there's cheating that pertains to relationships, but that's a bit different of a topic than what I want to focus on today, so we'll shelf that for another time. So then for people that make a habit of this in high school and college, there's a chance that those habits could carry over into their jobs and their careers. And that could end up being something that a company may find to be a problem. And then maybe that kind of thing doesn't get caught by the company, and those people continue to make it farther up the chain and get into places of leadership. If those tendencies are still there, there's a chance that they could hurt more than just one individual, that it could become a much larger problem. But let's shift gears. Let's talk about a modern example of why this could be an issue. The internet's a beautiful place and nothing bad has ever happened on there before, right? And nobody's ever gone on the internet and stolen someone's idea or artwork, dance compilation, script, music, movies, etc. There are whole channels out there literally devoted to calling people out for these things. And in an age of cancel culture, there are people who have done things like this that we don't even remember now because of how far the internet has discarded them and marks them irredeemable for all eternity. Now, does this mean that everybody online that cheats and uses other people's work or something like that on a consistent basis is ever gonna get canceled for it? Definitely not, as there are whole channels that grow off this kind of controversy. But at the same time, the internet's a volatile place, and one mistake or bad habit can take a whole channel, company, website, or personality down. These people that thrive off of negative coverage and press could literally disappear in one day with one change of public opinion. And perhaps when you're looking at these channels, have you ever looked back with 100% positive feelings about what they were doing? What if you were in the shoes of the artist that they were stealing from or copying from? Consistent, honest, and straightforward channels that maintain integrity perhaps won't be able to gain the boost off of negative press coverage as other channels will, but they will have a much more linear growth pattern that will allow them to stay around for much longer, regardless of public opinion and attention. Take for example MKBHD, Linus Tech, and some of the other consistent channels. These guys have built their channels over so many years, but because of their dedication, they are where they are right now. These people care about what they do and they care about their audience, and it shows in the way that they stick around even through all the turmoil that YouTube and the other platforms are going through. This immunity to public change also allows these guys to not worry about their income or their audience betraying them. Now, I understand that they are covering less controversial topics, but there are others that do cover more nefarious content but stay stable. I want to be somebody that doesn't rely on volatility or questionable social practices to get ahead. I want to make sure that what I do makes a difference and is something that I can look back on and know that I put my best into it. Making a habit of not crediting artists, stealing work, and other general things that could be broadly seen as cheating may not impact you at all, or may not impact me at all. Just like I've said already, there are quite a few people that are out there cheating on homework and tests and whatever the case may be, and it's totally, what they do. It's not a problem. But the consequences online for this same kind of action are much more severe than they are in college or in school. And although those consequences may not be something you experience, the chance of them happening potentially seems to outweigh the benefit or ease of life by doing what you want. And while in college you have a professor or two keeping tabs on your work to make sure it's your own, the whole internet becomes your fact checkers later on in life. People will know when you're telling the truth, using your own work, or just stealing it from other people. And also, those who follow a more linear approach to channel growth and have a passion behind what they do end up sticking it out through a lot more turmoil and have a much more stable channel. And what they put out has inherently quality to it and genuinely helps other people and adds to people's lives. A final note I want to make is about the people you surround yourself with. Have you noticed that there seems to be a specific audience that watches and likes content from Logan Paul or say any of these other channels that I'm putting up on screen? It kind of seems like that each person kind of gets their own cult following and that specific people find those channels and kind of are attracted to those ideas. So with this in mind, who do you want to attract around you as a person? By trying to grow off negative press or other certain edgier practices, those things will bring people around you like that. And if you're wanting your friend group and your audience to be that way, then awesome, that's not a problem. But if that isn't something that you're looking for, then consider your own actions and how they'll impact you later on. By working to be somebody that doesn't cheat their way to the top online, you'll not only be a person that builds a space for themselves that's much more consistent over time, you'll surround yourself with the people that are looking to prioritize the same kind of things as you are. Hopefully this video was interesting for you or kind of brought up a new perspective for you. That's it for this video. Hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you in the next one.